Welcome aboard all of the lovely IHP collective and the 5D community. Anyone who is open to mindfully and spiritually living. So, the true spirituality journey is when you are your true self, your authentic self. You have been able to heal if there was the loss of your true self, and into kindness you are, and into compassion you are. And it's from here, not the mouth. The mouth accompanies, but the heart feels. Okay, so some people, they're not ready for IHP voices, perspectives, and the stories of a self empowered, enlightened 5D mystic woman who is a divine feminine. Others are, and obviously all are welcome, but you won't be resonating with any of the information if you have not yet completed your own journey and have your core self, your solo self, your narrative and relational self in the wholeness integrated. Use your human name. Okay, so Christ consciousness. I use the Christ consciousness 5D because that's what I'm vibing, and consistently in the high of the flow state. The flow state is possible with an integrated brain, a restorative embodiment self, and that's because of that type of awareness, accountability, and regulation. So when taken for granted, we don't turn off love, we love more. Why? Because we don't actually get taken for granted in the way of a cliche sentence. That's an adolescent adaptive child part. It's a person who's ruling with their 16-year-old, is how I'm going to bring it to you. I'm attachment trauma informed, please remember. But also do remember, I get called pseudoscience lady, and that's because I'm not the sciences person. I learn from the sciences people. Also, I bring spirituality, and human elements, subject matters, and I use words however I may please. It's also, I'm woo-woo spiritual. And with that, I'm a mystic. And mysticism is a beautiful journey, and it's all about, well, one, the profound exploration of the miracle of life. It transcends the five senses, which is when you will also be on that spirituality awakening journey. And it's not about performing miracles, although we do know that those miracles can happen. I don't like to use that word per se because of knowing where it goes. So it's not that I don't like the word, it's that I know that people think of that word in connection with what, one, is an honor for me. I was raised with Catholicism, Christianity. Unfortunately, I'm not welcome as a Reiki master by all, or as an Akashic record reader, although I know those of true faith who do know the Holy Spirit and the intelligence and Akash and universal love. They're all the same, the heart of the sky. So we're bringing all of the different disciplines, studies, all of it. So here I use oracle cards, I use shamanic, Egyptian. Okay, that's also why some of the 4D mystics don't like us. And that's where, once again, voices, they're for each group. So here we do universal love. We're a whole self. We have open hearts and we believe in each other and we allow differences to take place. We also know, thank you, Sadhguru, that boredom comes from not being involved with this cosmic happening that is life. Boredom comes from a person and or people who in fact will tend to go to that Zen master who says we have laundry when there's emotions arising. Okay, so how deep your expansion of consciousness and the emotional plane goes depends on you. As for me, well, I share a 5D person. We have beautiful relationship with all of those emotions. We love to be ourselves. We love to speak our truths, and that's with intimacy and unconditional love. So these are not hard. It's not a hard thing to cry, to get angry. It's not a hard thing for me to handle being misunderstood. It's not a hard thing for divine feminine. And that's when you claim your true self. You'll own your true self when you own your body and heart. And divine masculines, it's when they own their mind and heart and then they say, yes, I am free to be myself and take the lead, but I do so with the awareness of having other. And so I have a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. And so their amygdala is alerted to another in an effort to provide and support the growth of that lovely bond. Okay, so we're going to get into that one too. So when people instead take each other for granted, there's a mismatch of that which one will want. And the 5D person will not take away their love. The love stays a constant because that's what universal love is, but also because we're conscious lovers. So my belief in you doesn't remove itself. My love doesn't go away, but I know that we don't want the same attachment relationship. So secure attachment is not part of that. We might become a secure connection. So we come in and out of each other's lives, and that's it. And therefore, you don't strengthen the bond, but it doesn't weaken. It becomes a consistency and a consistent part of your herd, which is why for the 5D mystics, we expand the divine feminines. The divine masculines, I'm going to leave that to the side and let you all just keep in mind that there's distorted divine feminines, and then divine masculines, it's once they get their divine feminine that they are embodying their wholeness. Distorted feminines, they don't have their divine masculine embodied. I have my divine masculine. Maria uses the right and the left without talking shit about people. So I don't have an inner critic and an outer critic. I have I have thoughts, emotions. My 3-year-old might want something. I won't get it. I don't turn my back on God or Jesus because I didn't get it and start blaming Lucifer and calling people names or doing the whole, saga with my twin flame and twin flames or I don't have any of that. Okay, so when you're co-creating with spirit, God, universe, when you are an embodiment of the divine feminine or divine masculine, you know which one you are, you will have this consistently open and on because you're consistently, though, here. Okay, let's just remember, you don't have to believe in anything, but you're a flow state. Going with the flow, using your heart to deal with unknowns, uncertainties, and unexpecteds from within you. The inner growth mindset, the basic program is that. So we co-create, we own our fate and destiny, because when you own your mind and your body, you own you, but it's a whole self. It means you have forgiveness. You don't have any stuff is like, but I'm unhappy. When it happens, you say, okay, what am I working through? The Zen master calls his stuff laundry. We don't. We allow ourselves to not watch and wait. We use the prefrontal. We are embodying ourselves and we shine and we dream our world into being, not later. We get playful. And so you get curious, open, accepting, and loving of your own self and the experience you're having, which is why you're mindfully living and or spiritually living. But mindfulness, that's why you're doing mindfulness and mindsight. As I learned from Dr. Daniel Siegel, mindsight, he has 9 domains of integration, which I'm accustomed to. I'm finishing up a couple of courses, but other 2 I did all of them. And the wheel of awareness, which will be integrated in our masterclass, that allows for people to work with integration. And so you're working with 9 different domains, and that's bilateral, so my left and right speak together, vertical, then there's like narrative, relational, so my story, my relationships, and I forget all of them, Daniel. Wait, let's see if I can find them for you. But that's where it's people who are ready to be their whole self that do this stuff with fun. The Zen master, he doesn't have fun with emotions, for example. Otherwise, he wouldn't have called it laundry on the screen. So for me, sadness is sadness. It's not bad, not good. Being taken for granted, it's not true. It's an illusion because it's my interpretation of something I don't like. That's the karma stuff. I do dharma. And when we're in a higher timeline, it's not a timeline. We are basically restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating people. It's called a person who has integration of the brain, and I want to bring to you that infinite higher human conscious potential experience. So I get to be the human translator of stuff that is mystical. And although you might not ever define yourself a mystic per se, mysticism, as Sadhguru points out, is a profound exploration of the miracle of life, which is not perceivable by the 5 senses. So it's once you move beyond the 5 senses, which when you get into the introception, so you feel what's going on in here, or when you're able to sit with yourself and contemplate a moment and then make decisions, also that, but you're contemplating with the emotions, with the sensations, the images, the affects, the meanings, the behavior, and you're coming to expand yourself. So when I moved beyond the concept of loving one, it's because I got twin flames from twin flame. And I didn't follow the bandwagon, no, because my twin flames, my oversoul, I'm the divine feminine of my oversoul, because my counterparts, they're masculines, all of them, because well, I'm the nurturer. I mean, I could go so many different ways with this, but I won't. Meaning that this is how it all began. My twin flame one made themselves. I was waiting for them actually, even though I didn't know that I had already known they were coming. So at the beginning of my clairs, I just knew I had clairs. I was like, this is so cool. Oh my gosh, I never thought this would happen. Okay, so the first domain. Let me see. 1 second only of silence. Hello, silence, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again. Na, 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 na. So yes, some people they use silence because they don't know how to talk, and others instead we are not. It's not a big deal. Silence, not silence. Again, when we are taken for granted, we understand that it's not taken for granted. People have different ways that they live life. And so their amygdala will be alerted to that which is immediately around them, and anybody who's not near them, they completely have you not in that peripheral view. One, integration of consciousness. So part of my mind, I can pause, and then you can look at differentiated parts and anxiety and all that. Vertical integration, so the awareness of the bodily sensations. This is the interoception. Bilateral integration, and so that's where you can use your left and your right together. And that's where stuff comes up, so you're not overwhelmed. You have a window of welcome. Memory integration, so this is implicit and explicit memory, which means that stuff's coming up, you can welcome it and not do the rumination stuff. And then we have the narrative integration, so you're able to make sense of that memory, what's coming up, and to figure it out. And then we have the state integration, that's where the energy, firing emotions, behaviors, the ways you perceive, beliefs you have, plateaus, parts of you, those are also something you can integrate by working with yourself. So it's through thought as you explore the sensations and what's coming up. And then we have the also, so internal states and then cross state integration as well as part of this. And interpersonal, so parents, friends, okay, people around you. And temporal integration, so existential issues of life that relate to time. Anyone, secondary consciousness, the Zen master, for example, with laundry, he's not doing this. And then identity integration, so messages of who we are, of tenfold separated. Okay, so here's where the identity integration, I'm going to say, for any one of us who is in the 5D plane, I'm a human, you're a human. So identity is Maria is a person who has feelings like anybody else. And Maria has an amygdala like anybody else. And so when I'm told and explained how a person's brain works, and I understand it, me, your host, besides being a mystic, and even before I didn't have this stuff, I still understood what it meant to, I want you to be happy. So my love is unconditional because that's what love is. Me telling you how to spend the time that you are living is not going to be something that I want to do. That I will let you know that I'm sad or I'm upset or that I, won't be happy about not being around. That's something that you mature, which I did. It's thanks to my lovely oversoul that I got to mature and be here speaking to you all the way I am. But it's because I chose to consistently bring forth the knowledge and wisdom from my own body in a way of speaking authentically with an open heart and a generous one. I won't say it's generous because some people don't find it. It's healthy self-worth. And so we create relationships with the people who want to deepen the relationships with us. That's why you're not taken for granted. You are going to understand that those who don't have the same desires of being around you and or the same importance, again, it's something that will organically be known, which is why there's not stages, there's not tests, there's none of this stuff that you hear out there when you are a person who's building heart-to-heart relationships that are meaningful. You recalibrate, and you recalibrate based on the relationship at hand. There's a me and then there's a you. We're differentiated and we always link because I'm a divine feminine. And that's what a divine feminine will always do. We're nurturer. Our heart doesn't close. So the mind and the heart work together for divine masculine. And for divine masculine, it's once their heart is consistently wanting to be open to life that they'll know of other, and when they will figure out how beautiful love is to be shared with consistency versus distractions, deflections, and what's on all that other stuff. That's when they're going to seek out people who are self empowered, enlightened. And until then, what we're going to see is other people doing other stuff. So here we have divine feminine heart mind, again, divine masculine mind heart, and our love is a consistency. What changes is the bond. And so with some people, you don't have much to share. With other people, you do. And we'll be back with another story and or another episode. I'm thinking I'll share stories in our next episode. This one, I'm going to allow it to be a bit of food for thought, channel guidance, also just you knowing that a true self person won't be like, oh my God, I got taken for granted. So, no, it'll be, I get to love more because I heal those moments. Since you are a little kid, you begin loving more if you maintain the true self. If you didn't, you get the true self, and then you're going to be able to choose that when the time comes. And until that moment, there are lovely communities like Patrick Tiahan's with childhood trauma survivors who are consistently healing and a part of that and addressing their emotional stuff when it comes up and all that unkindness business. But they're taking responsibility, and that's really nice. So it was really nice to see how he talks about that because of being aware of how a dysregulated family style, like a Diego, there's mannerisms and behaviors that come up that are of complete disregard of another individual and how they're feeling and thinking. And so knowing that there are those who know how to say, hey, I got a really bad habit from home or whatever, however it is they bring it, you know what I mean? So this is nice. What I love about the time now is that we have people who are healing from that. And then we have people that don't need to heal. And this is the part of where the ones of us who don't need to heal bad behavior in this way that I'm talking about, not Patrick, but the I don't have awareness. Okay, so here's the deal. Again, everyone has a different journey, so I'm just speaking from my journey. When you will have been shown that love is free and that you can talk and that you can always be yourself, you won't hold against somebody them being their self. You see what I'm saying? And it's from here, not the words. The words don't mean anything. It's here that doesn't close, as I said. You're yourself, they're their self, and we maintain a heart that is open and generous because there's nobody that's holding a little, oh man, I did this stuff. There's emotions, and you handle them mindfully and spiritually, and then that's about it. You, again, know that you're going to find the people who feel deeply and think deeply and basically explore life the same way you do because you're going to want to be around each other more, not less, and that's going to call to you again and again and again. So the part about people and differences, we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, so welcome aboard, anybody who's new. Thanks for stopping by. See you soon.